The Brave Girl and the Wise Tree. In a small village near an enchanted forest, there lived a brave girl named Alara. She loved exploring the woods, though most villagers were afraid of it. They said the forest was filled with mysteries no one dared to uncover. Alara's curiosity led her deep into the forest one sunny afternoon. The trees were tall and ancient, their branches reaching toward the sky like arms. But as she ventured farther, she noticed the forest grew quieter, almost as if it were watching her. After walking for hours, Alara came across a giant, ancient tree in the heart of the forest. Its trunk was so wide that it took several people to wrap their arms around it. The tree's bark seemed to shimmer with a magical glow. Alara approached the tree, feeling a sense of awe and wonder. As she touched the bark, a voice echoed in her mind. "Why have you come, child?" Startled, Alara looked around but saw no one. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. The voice responded, "I am the guardian of the forest, an ancient spirit that has watched over these woods for centuries." Alara's fear faded, replaced by curiosity. "I've heard many tales about this forest," Alara said, "but why do people fear it so much?" The tree spirit sighed, its leaves rustling in response. "People fear what they do not understand, but the forest has wisdom beyond what they can see," the voice continued. The spirit invited Alara to sit by the tree's roots. "There are lessons this forest can teach you," it said. Alara sat down, eager to learn. "But you must be brave and patient, for these lessons will test you." She nodded, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The first lesson began as a fierce storm suddenly rolled in. The winds howled and the rain poured down, but the tree stood firm, its roots anchored deep in the ground. The spirit whispered, "Strength comes from knowing your roots." Alara watched in awe as the tree remained unbothered by the storm. "Like the tree, you must stand firm in the face of adversity," the spirit said. Alara realized that true strength wasn't just physical, it came from within. As the storm passed, a calm stillness settled over the forest. The tree's leaves sparkled with droplets of rain, reflecting the sunlight. "Nature endures, no matter the challenges," the spirit whispered. The next test came when the forest grew dark and shadows danced among the trees. Alara felt a chill down her spine, but she didn't run. The spirit told her, "Fear is natural, but courage means facing it." Suddenly, dark figures emerged from the shadows, creatures made of mist and darkness. Alara's heart raced, but she remembered the tree's lesson about courage. She took a deep breath and stepped forward. The creatures stopped, surprised by Alara's bravery. The tree's spirit whispered, "Your courage shines brighter than fear," and now the shadows retreat. The creatures vanished, dissolving back into the darkness. With the shadows gone, the forest returned to its serene beauty. Alara smiled, knowing she had passed the second test. The spirit told her, "Fear will always exist, but so will your strength to overcome it." The next day, the spirit set another challenge, a great river that blocked Alara's path. The river's current was swift and powerful, making it impossible to cross by conventional means. The spirit said, "Sometimes, obstacles can only be overcome by seeing beyond what's in front of you." Alara stared at the river, realizing she couldn't swim across without risking her life. She took a deep breath, remembering the tree's wisdom about patience and seeing clearly. Suddenly, she noticed stones beneath the surface, forming a hidden path. One step at a time, Alara carefully crossed the river, her feet balancing on the stones. She moved slowly, trusting in her instincts and the tree's guidance. When she reached the other side, the spirit's voice echoed, "Trust in what you cannot always see." Alara now understood that many of life's challenges required more than brute strength. She realized that thinking creatively and patiently was often the key to success. The forest spirit told her, "Wisdom is more powerful than force." As days passed, Alara became more connected to the forest and its teachings. She learned the subtle language of the wind, the songs of the birds, and the whispers of the leaves. The spirit told her, "Nature is your greatest teacher." One evening, as the sun set, Alara faced her final test. A deep fog rolled into the forest, covering everything in thick mist. She could barely see her own hands, let alone the path ahead. "Do not rely on your eyes," the spirit whispered. "Listen with your heart." Alara closed her eyes, focusing on the sounds and sensations around her. Slowly, the fog began to clear, not with her sight, but through her intuition. Guided by her intuition, Alara found her way through the fog and back to the tree. The spirit spoke, "You have passed the final test. Now you understand the balance of courage, wisdom, and patience." Alara smiled, knowing she had truly grown. The tree's branches lowered toward Alara, offering her a glowing seed. "This seed is a symbol of your journey," the spirit said. "Plant it and watch it grow as you continue to grow." Alara accepted the seed with gratitude. Alara returned to her village, where the people were amazed by her newfound wisdom and strength. She shared the lessons she had learned from the forest, helping her people understand the power of nature. The village began to change, filled with respect and care for the forest. In time, Alara planted the seed she received from the wise tree. It grew into a magnificent tree, much like the ancient one in the forest. This tree became a symbol of growth, courage, and wisdom for the entire village. Years passed, and Alara became known as the guardian of the forest and the village. She guided both with kindness, wisdom, and bravery, much like the ancient tree had guided her. Under her care, the forest and village flourished together in harmony. Alara often visited the ancient tree in the heart of the forest. Each visit reminded her of the lessons she had learned and the challenges she had overcome. She thanked the tree spirit for its guidance and continued to care for the forest. One day, the tree spirit spoke again. "It is time for you to pass on what you have learned." Alara nodded, understanding that her journey wasn't just for herself, but for future generations. She began to teach the village's children about the forest wisdom. The children of the village listened eagerly, learning from Alara's stories. They began to explore the forest, unafraid, guided by the lessons she passed on. The spirit of the forest was pleased, knowing its wisdom would live on. And so, the legacy of the brave girl and the wise tree lived on, growing with each generation. The village and the forest remained in harmony, their bond unbroken and strong. Alara's story became a legend, teaching others the power of courage, patience, and wisdom. Moral of the story: true growth comes from embracing courage, patience, and wisdom. Like the trees of the forest, we must stand strong in the face of adversity, nurture our potential, and help others along their journey.